as feminine women especially, I really want to talk about energy. And if you are a feminine woman and you've ever experienced this, I want you to know that you're not alone. So one of the things that I have encountered in my personal life, as well as with a lot of the feminine clients that I have had, is that is the importance of energy sovereignty. And what does that mean? It's holding and governing your own energy power. Feminine woman that is straight, whether you're a feminine woman that is queer, whatever the case may be. And I know specifically as a feminine woman that is gay, a lot of people in my life have tried to test this theory, right? They want to see whether I will fold, right? And I don't know why. I've never understood it. But it's, and I don't think everybody has this, and I don't think that everyone has the agenda of wanting to test me. I don't believe that. But what I have encountered is there are people who have tried to test me, right? And I could go deeper into it, but I'm just gonna save it there. But what I want you to understand is that you have to get to a place where your energy is your own energy, and that you cannot fold under any circumstance, because you know who you are. And you know who you are because you have done the inner work and gone through the understanding to uncover everything that it is that you need to uncover within yourself, right? And so so that you can fully stand in who you are wholeheartedly. And I go back to the example of me. I can use so many examples, but I go back to the example of me coming out at 19, right? And me standing firm in that. Because after that, as a feminine woman who is a lesbian and knows this, I experienced situations where people have literally tried to test me. And like I said, I'm 36 years old, but people have tried to test me, and they do it in multiple different ways, right? But and I have seen in my life how that has affected me energetically, where it has when I was in a place where I wasn't energetically sound within my own self. And so and that was work that I had to do, right? That was not based off of anybody else. But it was an understanding of, okay, what type of people do I want around me? But like I say, like I always go back to, everything is a reflection of you. And so understanding my own energy and my own energetic soundness or lack thereof, I had to face that. And so if you are a woman who is facing any type of like where you feel like you're being tested from outside of you, you have to be willing to look inside of you to understand where that is coming from, because it comes from all different sources, right? It comes from all different sources. And so once you uncover what it is that maybe the root causes of these things, can you finally find peace and soundness within yourself? Because the thing is, the stuff doesn't stop, but what happens is you become solid. You become rooted because you know who you are. And so nothing can really shake you. And that's the beauty of it, of this energetic, this, that's what happens when you have this soundness and this rootedness within yourself, is you recognize that, like, regardless of what comes my way, I can't be shaken. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole, and that's just where you want to get to. And so that is how, going back to love, like how I say, living a life that you actually love, it always starts with you. And so when you become sound within yourself, you can actually live a life that you actually love, because you're at peace, you are rooted, you are sound, you are maneuvering in a way where you just become so stable within your own self in all ways that, like, nothing really, nothing really shakes you, you know? And it's a beautiful thing. And so I love seeing it within other people. I love seeing it within myself. And it takes work. Like, it takes individual work. And so people always ask me, like, why did I get into coaching? And I always say is that when I was laid off in 2022, I literally feel like God set me down, and I had to look at myself. I had to look at my entire life. And when I tell you, everything started falling apart, like when I had to look at every single thing in my life, everything. I had to look at every single aspect. And I was like, I went through it, and it was years of peeling back every single thing in my life. And it was a lonely process. It was a very lonely process. And it was not fun. It was lonely. And I mean, I went through it. I went through it. I went through it. I made some mistakes. That, I mean, honestly, looking back, I don't know if they really were mistakes. But it was a process. And you have to be willing to go through the process. And I tell people that all the time. And so now, as a coach, when I have clients, I tell them it is a process. Like, you have to be willing to go through the process. And it is not always rainbow and sunshines. It is a process, and it requires you to be uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable. Like, it's a part of it, but on the other side of that is something so beautiful. And you have to believe that, and you have to hold on to that belief that what it is that you see for yourself is going to be beautiful. And yeah, but yeah, because the person that I am right now is not the person that I was before, like, at all. And I go back to the video of talking of the trees, of how we don't see the process that the trees go through often, of how they get to be so big and all these different things. And I can even reference other videos of other people talking about it, of the process of plants and flowers and trees, like going through their process, because there are other people that have references as well. But it is so true, because we go through these processes and these things, and oftentimes people see this particular side of it, but don't see the part where you were crying for 3 months, you know what I'm saying? Or you was talking to your therapist for however many months, or your therapist sucked and was no help, or you felt like you was in a deep dark hole. I remember talking about how I was in the wilderness, for how I felt like I was in the wilderness for a long time before I even got to this point. Like, I felt like I was just out there dangling by a thread, and nobody cared, you know what I'm saying? Or I felt like nobody cared. And so it's just like, yo, like, so it is a process. And it's a constant, it really is, it is a constant dying to yourself. It is a constant dying to yourself, like constant elevation, constant just like looking at yourself and seeing like what parts of yourself are holding you back from yourself, like literally. Like legit. And literally, like, you either, like, and that's why I say, like, sometimes I have clients who really do flourish because they take the journey and they run with it and they take it all the way. And then I have clients who they still allow the fear to run their life, and they know what they need to do, but they're still too afraid to do it. And it's okay. There's no judgment ever. And I'm always upfront with them. But when they get to a point where they're at that like pathway where they have to really make that judgment call, sometimes they're too afraid. And it's okay. But everybody isn't ready for change. Like, everybody isn't ready for change. But you also have to know yourself. And yeah, like, everybody isn't ready for change, because change is scary. It's just like how we see now, like, in this world. Like, I see how like for me, I don't consider myself like a person who is political, but I've recognized how there are things in my life that I stand firmly on, because I believe that everybody in this world deserves to be loved and seen. And I fall into categories that have been overlooked and undervalued in this country, and so I can only do my part in whatever way to help, you know. And so as a woman as a woman, as a black and brown woman, as a gay woman, as a whatever else artist, as a whatever else that I fall into, I'm gonna make sure that as a nature lover, as an environmental lover, as all these things, I'm gonna make sure that I do my part to help in any way that I can. And that's what I can do. And use my voice and whatever I can, because those are things that I love, and that is what my love is. And so that is what I choose to put my time and my energy into, right? And so I don't know, I lost my thought. But and so in order to be change, so in order to be change, dang, so what was I saying? I'll figure it out. And so I was talking about change. And so because I want whatever, and so because I want to make change, I had to change. So in order for me to make change in the things that I wanted to change, I had to start with myself. And so yeah, I don't know if that was, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it's just like, I don't know, be the change that you want to see. And and so and a part of that is you have to let go of the fear, because there is always going to be something or somebody that is not going to like it, but it's because they are afraid of change. And the thing is that there's so much stuff that has been the same in this country and in this world because of that fear of change. And what if on the other side of that fear is something so beautiful? And there's another YouTuber, and I'm gonna put her little link down below. Jhadina, I think. She talks about that in some of her videos as well. She talks about on the other side of that, on the other side of fear as well. And she's great. I love her videos. But she talks about that, of what it looks like on the other side of fear, because it really is true. Like, and I tell my clients this, is that like, when you, like, I had a client who was afraid to go out alone, right? And she was afraid to go out alone. And so she finally did. And she was like, oh my God, I had such a great time. And I'm like, see, sometimes our greatest fear is really like when you realize that there's nothing to ever be afraid of to begin with, you know? Like, I used to, like, not like being on social media, and, you know, and so, and I still don't really, to be honest, but I don't mind making YouTube videos when I feel called to, and when I feel like I need to step back and be in my own bubble, I do that. And I don't care. Like, it is what it is. And so, you know, release the fear. We all have it. Release it. Like, just let it go. Like, you know what I'm saying? But fear also is, I love one of Nikki Giovanni's poems about fear, when she talks about, like, talking about fear and how, like, we should bottle it up like Coke and all these different things instead of it being the way that it is, because the way that it is that fear is hatred, and fear should never be that. Fear should be like how it saves you from doing something stupid, or fear should be like, oh, don't go down that path, like how she mentioned in her poem. Or like, for example, when for me, like, I had a situation where fear popped up for me and it ended up saving my life. And I got out of a situation that could have turned way worse than what it was. So it's like, fear, like I always say, feelings are indicators, and they tell us something, but they are not meant to run our lives. Like, they should be indicators of how to maneuver, not as a total basis of, like, of like how you run governments, and how you or what people can or cannot do when it comes to, like, for example, gay marriage, and you know, all the things, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is not how fear should be used. So yeah. Anyway, just sharing a thought. But all right, as always, namaste. And once again, if you don't know what namaste means, it means the divine in me sees the divine in you, because we are all the divine. Yeah.